You can draw this in Procreate and this, and this. I will show you how you can create 10 quick and easy drawings in Procreate. These are perfect standalone drawings. You can tweak each drawing to your own liking. You can combine drawings, put them in bigger projects, or just have fun creating something super quick. The canvas I'm working on during this tutorial is 2500 pixels by 2500 pixels, and I have left a link down in the description to the color palettes of these different drawings. But of course you can feel free to choose your own colors. And then if you're ready, let's start drawing. We'll start with this cute mushroom. First, we'll change our background color. We'll go to the layer menu, the two little squares, tap background color, and then pick the first color in this row of colors. Then we'll grab the monoline brush, which you can find under calligraphy, and we'll use this fourth color, this bright red. I have the brush set to 100% opacity. The size is at 30%, and I will just draw a circle like this, and then hold your pen in place, and you can tap one finger on the screen if you'd like a perfectly round circle. Let's go for something like this. And then we can drag this color into our circle to fill it. Now we are going to change the shape a little bit. We'll go to this magic wand icon, then go to liquify, and make sure to set it to push with distortion and momentum set to none. I have pressure to max, and with the size you can play around. Let's go for something like maybe 80% or 81. And then let's push here on the underside and pull a little bit over here. And then we can make the brush a little bit smaller, like 60%, to have a little bit more control. We'll push a bit over here and create a nice mushroom cap shape. So that could be something like this. Then we'll make a new layer. We'll go to the layer menu, two little squares. We'll tap the plus, and then tap and hold this layer to drag it underneath our first layer. And then we'll switch our color to the second one. And we are going to draw the stem of our mushroom. We'll go down here, make a rounded shape, go up, and then close the shape behind here, and then drag in the color. Then let's give it a little face. Let's tap the plus for a new layer. And for the brush, I'd like to switch to the inking brushes and use the studio pen. With this brush, if you are using an Apple pencil, for instance, the harder you press, the thicker your line will become. And for the color, we'll grab this one, sixth color. Now the opacity of this brush should be at 100%, and I have the size set to 50%. And I will draw two cute little eyes and a slight smile. I'd also like to give him rosy cheeks. Let's use this color for that, fifth color. And I will just make two of these little dots. Then let's add some dots to the mushroom cap. Let's go to this layer. Then we'll tap the plus for a new layer on top. And then we'll tap that new layer and set it to clipping mask. This way, whatever we draw here, it'll only show up on the mushroom cap. And for the color, we'll use this second color. And then just draw a bunch of dots. You can vary the sizes a bit. Make some on the edge like this. And over here. Now let's add some shading. We'll do that by going to this mushroom cap layer, then tap it and turn on alpha lock. It's a bit like clipping mask. Now we can only paint on the shape that's already there. And we are going to do that with an airbrush. We'll go to the airbrushing brushes and use the soft brush right here at the top. And for the color, we'll use the fifth color. I have the opacity set to 80% and the size at 9. And now let's go along this lower left edge like this, just a little bit. Then we'll also add some shading to the stem by going to this layer and also turning on alpha lock there. So tap the layer, turn on alpha lock, Then we'll grab this color, third color in the first row, then add a bit of a shadow underneath there because that cap is casting a shadow, and we'll also add a bit of a shadow here on the left and lower side. Now let's make a bit of an underground. Let's tap the plus for a new layer, then tap and hold it and drag it underneath. Then for the brush, we can go back to the inking brushes and use the studio pen. And for the color, we'll use this one. That's the 7th color. Now let's just make a little hill shape like this. We can make an oval, then drag in the color. And then I'd like to fade the underside. Let's do that with the eraser. Let's grab an eraser. Let's go to the airbrushing brushes and use the soft brush again. But this time it'll be used as an eraser. The opacity of the brush of our eraser is 100%, and the size, let's set that to 10%. And then let's just go along this lower part and then make a nice fade there. Now let's add some extras. Let's grab our brush again, which is the studio pen. And let's make the brush a bit smaller, 20%. And let's add some like floating grass, just some extra touches. And we can also add a bit of a shadow. Let's do that by tapping the layer and turning on alpha lock. And then we'll grab this darker color, 8 color, and we'll use our soft brush again. So we'll go to the airbrushing brushes, use the soft brush, and then go along the underside a bit, like this. Our next easy drawing is a paper plane. First, we'll change our background color. So we'll go to the layer menu, tap background color, and pick the first color. Then we'll grab the monoline brush under calligraphy, and for the color, we'll use this one, second color. Opacity of the brush is at 100%, the size is at 30, and now we are going to draw a triangle. Start here, go in this direction, back down, and back here. Then hold your pen in place to make it switch to a quick shape. Now you can tap triangle here in case you want to make some adjustments. You can just move these handles. We'll go for something like this, and then drag in the color. Now we're going to make it a bit more crisp. We'll do that by tapping and holding the eraser so that it switches to the monoline brush. And now let's make the brush about 20% in size. And the opacity should be at 100%. And then just make a line along this edge. And you can hold your pen in place so that you get that quick line. And then create this crisp, pointy point. And over here as well. We'll just go along the edge. And you can tap line actually here at the top. So you can move it around and create these crisp corners. Next thing we'll do is add a layer mask to this layer. We'll tap this layer and then tap mask. And then make sure to use black over here. If you have another color selected, just double tap here to select black. And now we are going to draw another triangle. This time we'll start here, then go to the front of our plane, then back, and then over here. Hold your pen in place for another triangle, or polyline in this case. I guess it's not as tidy as the first one. You can move your lines around to create something like this, and then you can drag in the color. Now, of course, here, these lines, they aren't touching, so we need to fix that. We can do that by switching to white here. Go to your color menu, then double tap here. And then let's make the brush just a little bit bigger. Let's go for 50%. And then let's just draw a line like this. Hold your pen in place. And you can move it around like this and make sure that it's right there at the tip of your plane. And then let's do the same over here. Hold your pen in place and go for something like this. Then we'll make a new layer. We'll tap the plus and then tap and hold this layer to drag it underneath. And now we'll grab this color over here, third color, and I will make the underside of our plane. So we'll make another triangle. We'll start here, make a line like this to about here. Then we'll go up to here, and then we need to close our shape over here. And then you can drag in the color. And make sure to go over here and make sure that this is tidy. So you can grab the eraser, get rid of this. And then we'll make a new layer on top of this. We'll tap the plus and we'll grab the second color, the light color again. And for the brush, let's use the studio pen under inking. The opacity for this brush is at 100%. Let's set the size to 10%. And then let's draw a line from here to here. And you can hold your pen in place for a nice straight line. So you get this. Next, we'll add some shading. Let's go to this layer and make a new layer on top. We'll tap the plus and then we'll set this new layer to clipping mask so that whatever we draw, it'll only show up on this shape. And then we'll go to the selection tool, that's the S shaped ribbon, set it to freehand, and make sure that this is turned off. This shouldn't be blue. So to freehand, and then we'll tap in this corner, then we'll go up here, and then we can go to the front here, loop all the way around, and then tap here to close the selection. When you have a selection, you can only paint inside the selection, which is very useful. Let's grab our soft brush under inking, no, not inking, under airbrushing. And for the color, we'll use this one, fourth color. The opacity is at 80% and the size at 9. And now let's add a little bit of shadow over here. Making a diagonal motion. And we can also add a little bit of light. We can do that with the second color. And we can go over the top just a little bit. Then we'll turn off our selection by tapping the S shape ribbon. So now we can paint anywhere on the shape. Then let's grab this fourth color again and just add a little bit of shadow here. So now we have a nice paper plane. We can add some extra touches. Let's tap the plus for a new layer and use the second color over here to just add some fun elements. I'd like to use the inking brush for that, the studio pen. I'd like to make it nice and big. Let's go for 70%. And for instance, we can make this sort of like trail over here. And maybe some groups of dots, as if these are some abstract clouds with various sizes. Now let me show you how you can easily draw a cute sun. Let's first change our background color again. So we'll go to the layer menu, tap background color, and then pick the second color in the first row. And then for our brush, let's go to the calligraphy brushes and use the monoline brush. And for our color, we'll grab this one, fourth color in the first row. The opacity of the brush should be at 100%, and we'll set the size to 65. And then we'll draw a circle. Let's go like this. Hold your pen in place, then tap one finger on the screen, and you can move around like this to make it smaller or bigger. We'll go for something like this, and then let go. I want it to be in the center of our canvas, so let's go to the Move and Transform tool. That's the little arrow up here. Then over here, go to Snapping and turn Snapping on. Now when you move it around, you'll see these lines. Once you see a vertical and a horizontal one, you are in the center. Next, let's fill the shape of our sun. We'll go to the layer menu, we'll tap this layer, and then we'll set it to reference. Now we can make a new layer on top, and we can fill this shape with color without being on the same layer. So we'll grab this third color and then we can drag it onto our layer and it'll use this circle as a reference. Then let's tap the plus so we can create our sun rays. And to do that, I'd like to go to the wrench, then to canvas, then turn on drawing guide, and then go to edit drawing guide. Here at the bottom, you can set it to symmetry, then go to options, and then set it to radial. And then we'll tap done. And then when you go to your layer menu, you will see assisted underneath the layer name. That means that right now, this assisted layer, whatever you draw on it, it will follow these guidelines or this symmetry tool. So if you draw here, it'll also show up here, 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 and here. Super handy. Now let's switch our color. Let's go for the fourth color in the first row. And I like to make nice and thick rays. So let's set the size to 100%. And then let's first make a line over here. You can hold your pen in place for a nice straight line. Then we'll go here, make another one. And then we'll make these lines in between these. Now that we have this, we can turn our drawing guide off. We can go to the wrench, to canvas, turn off the drawing guide. But when you look at your layer, it will still be assisted. So if you would draw on this layer, it would still follow that radial guide. That's just a handy thing to keep in mind. Now let's add a face to our sun. Let's tap the plus for a new layer. And then let's grab this color, sixth color in the first row. And actually, to make the face nice and symmetrical, you could use a drawing guide again. What you could do is go to the wrench, turn the drawing guide back on, go to edit drawing guide, and then go to options and set it to vertical. Now whatever you draw on the left side will show up on the right side. Let's tap done. And now let's go to the layer menu and make sure that we turn on drawing assist here. Let's tap the layer, turn on drawing assist so that symmetry is turned on. Then let's draw a circle. Hold your pen in place, tap one finger on the screen. And then here at the top, you can tap circle and you can just move it around and look at how you want to place these circles. I like to go for something like this. And then before we can drag in the color into these circles, we need to make sure that we turn off reference on this layer. So tap that layer, turn off reference, then go back to the eye layer and drag in the color. Now I'd also like to add rosy cheeks. So let's grab this color over here, fifth color in the first row. And let's draw another circle. Hold your pen in place, tap one finger on the screen. Let's go for something like this and then drag in the color. And then for its mouth, let's go back to the sixth color. And then for the size, let's go for 65%. And then let's draw a curve like this. Now let's add some subtle shading to our sun. Let's go and let's first turn off that drawing guide. Let's go to the wrench, turn the drawing guide off, then go to the layer menu and let's duplicate this yellow layer here. We'll slide to the left, tap duplicate, then go to the bottom one and then fill that with this color, fourth color, drag it on there. And now you can't see it, but in the layer menu, you'll see that this one is orange now. Then we'll make this layer smaller, or this shape. We'll go to the Move and Transform tool, make sure to set it to uniform, and then use these handles, drag this around, and make the shape a little bit smaller, and make sure that it's in the center. Now let's go back to our layer menu, go to this layer, and let's set this to alpha lock. Then we'll go to the airbrushing brushes, use the soft brush, and we'll grab this third color, that yellow. And then we'll just go over the top area here to get rid of the orange there. But here at the bottom, I want to keep it. But I want to make it a little bit subtle, a bit more transparent. So we'll gently go over there, adding a slight shadow. And here at the top, I'd like to add a little bit of light. So we can use this first color, and then with this soft brush, we can go over here and add a tiny little highlight. Now let's add even more highlight by going to the inking brushes, to the studio pen, and let's go to the top, tap the plus for a new layer, and then let's add some of these dots, some shiny highlights. Next, we can use a part of this illustration for our next one. We are going to remove everything but the face. Now don't remove this, of course, before you have duplicated your entire project or your layers, because otherwise your sun will be gone forever. And you don't want that. So I have duplicated my project. Now I'll just delete these and keep the face. Then we'll tap the plus for a new layer and drag that underneath here. And then for our brush, let's go to the calligraphy brushes, to the monoline brush. And for the color, we'll use this one, first color in the second row. And now we are going to draw some circles. And every time you create one, you can hold your pen in place, tap a finger on the screen to make nice round shapes. And you can play around with the sides. You can tap here at the top if you want to move it around. And then just tap the brush to go back. I want a big one over here. And perhaps one here. Something like this. Maybe make this one a little bit bigger. You can just continue until you are happy with the shape of your cloud. I think this looks good. Then let's tap the brush to get out of that little menu. And now we are going to fill these shapes. You can just drag the colored circle in one of the open spaces, and then you can tap continue filling at the top. And then you can simply tap everywhere to fill these gaps. I feel like the color of the eyes is a little bit too harsh for our cloud. So we can go to this layer, and then let's grab this color, fourth color in the second row, and let's drag that onto the eyes and mouth. And let's also make the cheeks a little bit lighter. Let's go for this third color, drag it on there, and then let's go back to our cloud layer, tap it, turn on alpha lock, and then let's grab a soft brush under airbrushing, and let's add a little bit of shading to our cloud. We'll do that with the second color in the second row, and then let's go along the underside, adding this nice pinkish shadow. Then let's also add a little bit of shadow to our background. We'll tap the plus and then tap and hold this new layer to drag it underneath. And then let's grab this color over here, fifth color in the second row, and let's use that over here. Just along the edges, little bit of a shadow shape. Next up, we'll create a glowing moon and stars. Let's first change our background color. Let's go to the layer menu, tap background color, take this color, sixth color in the second row, and then for our brush, let's go to the calligraphy brushes, use the monoline brush, and for the color, let's use this one, first color in the first row. Let's set the size of the brush to 30%, and then we are going to draw a circle. Hold your pen in place, tap one finger on the screen for a perfectly round circle. And you can tap circle here at the top if you'd like to move it around. Then tap the brush, and let's make another circle. Hold your pen in place, tap one finger on the screen. Let's go for something like this. Then tap circle. Let's move it to about here. Then grab the eraser, which should still be set to monoline. And I will go in here and tidy this up. We'll remove this part, make a nice pointy part, and over here as well. Follow the curve And I just need to remove this. Now you could make the brush bigger, like 100%. Go over here to erase this. And I will make a new layer for some stars. Let's tap the plus, and then for the brush, I'd like to go to the inking brushes to the studio pen. And let's set the size to 20%. And let's just make some random star shapes. Maybe some dots. Maybe some stars like this. And this. You can go for whatever you like. You can keep it pretty simple. And now it's time to make this glow. Let's go back to our moon layer. Then we'll go to the magic wand and then to bloom. Then slide to the right with your pen on the screen. And let's go for 10% bloom, for instance. You can also play around with the size of the bloom. Make that a bit smaller, for instance. And with the burn, I'll go for 30% there. Size is at 24, bloom at 10%. Then you can go back to your layer menu. You can add even more glow by duplicating this layer, by sliding to the left, tapping duplicate. Then you can go to the bottom layer, then back to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, slide to the right to make it glow even more. You could go for 15%, for instance. And I can do the same for the stars. I'd like those to be a little bit more subtle. Let's go to the magic wand, then to bloom, slide to the right to make these glow. And play around with the size again, with the burn. I'll go for 8% bloom, 23% in size, and 29% burn, and then tap the magic wand. You have made it to the halfway point. I hope you have been enjoying the first 5 drawings. I just want to give you a quick little update on what's happening at Patreon right now. This week, we created this cute raccoon. But that's just one of the more than 200 tutorials that I have available at Patreon. So it's the perfect place if you are starting to develop a Procreate drawing addiction, or if you want to dive deeper into Procreate and really master your skills and build those drawing muscles. Just check out what these patrons have been creating recently. It makes me super proud. And you can do that too, so it will be great to see you there. But now let's move on to our next drawing. Next up is this umbrella. Let's start by changing our background color again. We'll go to the layer menu, tap background color, and then pick this first color. And then we are going to turn on the symmetry tool. So we'll go to the wrench, then to canvas, then we'll turn on drawing guide, then we'll tap edit drawing guide and set it to symmetry. And then we'll tap done. Then for our brush, we are going to use the monoline brush under calligraphy. And for the color, we'll start with this one. 5th color and, well, the only row that we have. The opacity of the brush should be at 100%. And I have the size at 30%. And I will make a line like this. And you can hold your pen in place for a nice straight line. We'll go for something like this. And I will make a curve. So we'll go like this. And you can hold your pen in place for a nice curve. And then we'll drag in the color. Then you need to grab your eraser. It's still set to the monoline brush. And let's make the brush a little bit smaller, maybe 50%. And then we'll make a line. Start here. Hold your pen in place and make this nice and crisp. Next, we are going to duplicate this shape. You can do that by going to the layer menu and then sliding to the left, tap duplicate. And now we are going to change the color of this one. We'll pick this color, 4th color, and the only row that we have. And then let's duplicate it again, slide to the left, tap duplicate. Then we'll pick this orange color, drag it on there, and then do this again. And then we'll pick this 2nd color. Then we are going to move these around. We are going to start with this one, the yellow one. We'll go to the move and transform tool, the little arrow, and we are going to rotate this by using the green handle. And we are going to move it right here. We can zoom in a little bit. Make it align with the red part. So it should be something like this. Then tap the arrow and just check. I can see it's a little bit too low, so we can go back and you can just nudge it by tapping outside of the bounding box and then tap the arrow again. I'll go to the next one, the yellow one, then to the move and transform tool, rotate it and make it align with the yellow part. Just make sure that you don't have any gaps and that it nicely aligns here at the top. And tap the arrow, check if it's looking all right. I think it does. And now let's go to the red one here, into the move and transform tool. Rotate it, make it align with the orange part. And just move it. You can nudge it a bit so it nicely aligns. I feel like this one is a little bit too high up, so we can just go back, nudge it in this direction a bit, and let's check it again. I think that looks fine. Now we are going to duplicate these 3 layers. And we'll do that by sliding to the right on these 3 layers, then tap and hold them and drag them onto your canvas. Now you have 3 duplicates. Now we need to select these top 3. So first tap this one and slide to the right on the top 3. Then go to the move and transform tool and go to flip horizontal. And now we can move this to the right and make it align here. And then tap the arrow. I do see that we have a slight little gap, so let's move it a little bit to the left and tap the arrow. I think this will do. Then we'll go to this layer and we'll change the color. We'll grab the 6th color, drag it on there. Then to the next one, we'll grab this color, 7th color. And then finally for the top one, we will grab this color. Let's drag it on there. And then once you have this and once everything is nicely aligned, you can pinch these layers together. Next, I'd like to transform this just a little bit so it's a bit more pointy. So we'll go to the move and transform tool, set it to freeform, and then just push this handle until you get something like this. Then let's move it to the center. And we can make it a little bit bigger by setting this to uniform. Then back to freeform. Let's push this a bit. I think this will do. Let's tap the arrow. Now we'll go to the magic wand and then to liquefy. Make sure to set it to push with distortion and momentum set to none. I have the size set to 90%. Now let's push up here and then go like this, making that nice rounded umbrella shape. Maybe push up a little bit more over here. And if some parts need a little bit more pushing, you can make the brush a little bit smaller, like around 60%, and make some more like smaller tweaks, or bigger if you need to make bigger tweaks, like around 80 if you want this to be a little bit bigger over here. Let's go for something like this. Now let's move it down a little bit. Let's go to the move and transform tool. I'll place it over here. And then let's make a new layer underneath. So we need to tap the plus, then we'll drag this underneath. And let's make sure that the symmetry tool works here. So we can tap this layer and turn on drawing assist. Then for the color, we'll use this one, 9th color. And for the brush, we'll stick with the monoline brush. Let's first add a little thingy here at the top. And then make a line going down here. You can tap your finger on the screen to make sure that it's perfectly vertical. Now let's fill it over here. And then we'll make a handle. We'll tap the plus for a new layer. Let's make it red. Let's grab the second color and then draw a simple handle here. Rounded shape. Something like this, and drag in the color. And of course, once you're finished, you can go to the wrench and turn off that drawing guide to admire your umbrella. Next, we'll draw a cat. For this one, what you need is a color like black or any color you like, and the studio pen under inking. I have the opacity set to 100% and the size at 20%. And I will start by drawing an oval like this. And I will leave a little gap where we can add an ear like this. Then we'll add a line here. And here we'll imagine this line continuing here. Then we'll add another ear on this side with a little line. And then here we'll make these eyes. And a little nose with a mouth. Then we'll start here for the body. We'll make a nice curve like this, then back like this and up for the body and the tail. Then we'll make a curve over here for its hind leg. And then here we'll make a little paw. And another one right here. So now we already have a very basic cat. We can add whiskers. You can add these little details to the paw. And of course, you can add any pattern to the fur that you like. You can add lines to the tail, imagining that this is a curved shape. And right now I'm using the studio pen for this, but of course you can also experiment with different brushes here. Perhaps some lines over here, adding a little bit more interest to our cat. And for this cat, you can go ahead, like I said, experiment with different brushes, add colors to it, play around with the fur patterns, and really create your own unique sleeping cat. Next, let's create a very simple, stylized cup of coffee. We'll use the monoline brush under calligraphy, and for the color, we'll use this first color in this coffee color palette. The opacity of the brush is at 100%, the size at, 65. And then let's first draw a circle. Hold your pen in place, tap one finger on the screen like this, and then make a horizontal line like this. Hold your pen in place and tap one finger on the screen for a perfectly horizontal line. And then we are going to remove the top part. We'll do that by going to the selection tool, the S-shaped ribbon. We'll set it to a rectangle and make sure that color fill is turned off. And then let's make a selection like this. Go right along that line. And now you can swipe with 3 fingers like this to remove that top area. Then we'll add the ear of the mug. Let's make a curved line like this. You can hold your pen in place for a nice smooth curve. And then another on the inside. Next, let's add some color. Let's first change our background color. Let's tap the layer menu and then tap background color and pick this third color. Then let's go back to the layer menu. Let's tap the plus and drag this color or this layer underneath, and then go to your line art layer, tap it and set it to reference. Then we'll go to this bottom one and we are going to fill it with color. We are going to use this one, 4th color in this only row, and then let's drag it in here. Now I'd like to put this ear on a separate layer, so let's tap the plus and then drag this color in there. Now let's add some shading. Let's go to this layer, tap it and turn on alpha lock so we can only paint on the shape. And then let's grab the soft brush. And for the color, let's grab the third color. Now the opacity of this brush is at 80%, the size, let's set that to 10%. And then just go over the lower right area here, adding some shadow. Then let's do the same for the ear here. Let's tap it and turn on alpha lock. And then let's just add a little bit of shadow. Let's make the brush a little bit smaller actually. 6%. And go along this edge over here. Next, let's add a little drop shadow underneath our cup. Let's tap the plus, drag this layer to the bottom. Then we'll grab this color, second color. And for our brush, we'll go back to the calligraphy brushes, use the monoline brush. Now let's draw an oval like this. Hold your pen in place. And of course, you can go to edit here at the top in case you want to adjust it a little bit. Let's go for something like this. And then before we drop in the color, we need to go to the top layer here and make sure to turn off reference. So tap the layer, turn that off, then go back to this layer and drag in the color. Then for some final touches, let's add a new layer at the top. Let's tap the plus. And for our brush, let's go to the inking brushes and use the studio pen. And for the color, let's grab this one, fifth color. Let's make the brush nice and big, perhaps 60%. Let's see. I think that's nice. Opacity should be at 100%. And then let's make a curving shape upward like this. And another one next to it. And then perhaps we can add some extra touches. And let's also add a little extra touch on the cup. Let's grab this color, our line art color, and then just for an extra touch, we can go like this. All right, next up, let's create a star in a jar. We'll use the monoline brush for that. So we'll go to the calligraphy brushes, grab the monoline brush, and for the color, let's grab this one, fourth color in the first row. Opacity should be at 100%. Let's set the size to 30. And then first, let's draw a relatively flat oval over here. Tap one finger on the screen to make sure that it's perfectly horizontal. And then let's go to the Move and Transform tool, the little arrow. Make sure that you have snapping turned on. And then make sure that it's placed in the vertical center. Then we are going to duplicate this layer. So we'll go to the Layer menu, slide to the left, tap Duplicate. Then go to the Move and Transform tool again and move this down just a little bit for the lid of the jar. Then we'll duplicate it again. So we'll again slide to the left, tap Duplicate. Again, go to the Move and Transform tool, move it down. And I also want this one to be a little bit bigger. So let's make it a little bit wider. Still move it to the center. Go for something like this. Maybe even a little bit wider. And just make sure that it's in the vertical center. Then let's go to the wrench, then to Canvas, then turn on the drawing guide, then go to Edit Drawing Guide and set it to Symmetry. Then tap Done, and then let's first work on our lid. Let's make a layer on top of these two. Let's tap the plus and let's make sure to turn on Drawing Assist here so that the symmetry works. And then simply attach these two parts. You can hold your pen in place to make a nice straight line. You can also tap line here if you need to move it around a little bit. And you can easily see on this side what's happening. Let's go for this. And then let's check, we need this shape. Let's tap it, then grab the eraser, which is still set to the monoline brush. And then let's go over here and erase that line. So now we have a nice lid shape. Then let's go and merge these. Let's go to this layer, make a new one on top. Then set that new layer to Drawing Assist so we can make the glass part. Now let's just zoom out a little bit so we don't have to make a very long line. The smaller you make it, the shorter your line. And let's grab the brush and let's start here, go up a little bit to the left and then connect here. Next, I'd like to have this inside part of the circle to be on a separate layer from the front. So let's go to this layer And then let's go to the selection tool, the S-shaped ribbon. Let's set it to freehand. And then let's just select that inner part here, like this. Then slide down with 3 fingers and use cut and paste. Now it's on a separate layer. And now we can drag this one up so we can merge that with those straight lines. So now we have a layer with this area, a layer with that inside, and a layer for the lid. Next, let's change our background color. Let's tap background color, set it to this color, nice blue, and let's also turn off our drawing guide. Let's go to Canvas, then turn off the drawing guide. And next, I'd like to color the lid. Let's go to this layer. Let's tap the plus and drag that new layer underneath. And then let's set this layer to reference. Then go to the layer underneath and let's use this color, second color for the top. And let's use the third color for the side. Then let's make another layer. Let's tap the plus. And let's grab this color, first color in the second row. And let's also set the layer to Drawing Assist. I'd like to add a light line along the edge, like this. And also over here, you can rotate your canvas, create a light line here. But I wanted to cover this part. So we need this line from the inside, we need that to be at the bottom, like this. Now we can go back here to this one. Now we can add some light to the lid. Let's tap this layer, turn off Drawing Assist, so we can just add some light on this side. Maybe a little bit here. And then finally, I'd like a little bit of light over here. So that needs to be underneath this layer. So select this one, tap the plus, drag it underneath, and then just go along this area and add some light there. Not all the way to the edge, you can leave a little gap. And then it's time for the star in our jar. Now, drawing a star can be a little bit challenging, but I have a nice little trick. Let's go to the top layer, and then let's go to the wrench, then to add text, and then let's tap here twice to get all the emojis. And then you can either search your emojis, scroll through your emojis. I have the star here already, so let's tap the star, then go to the Move and Transform tool, and then just make it bigger. Let's make sure to have snapping turned on so we can place it in the vertical center. Make it bigger, place it in the center, and then we can use this as a guide. Let's make a layer on top of this, tap the plus, and then let's set that layer to Drawing Assist. And then for our brush, we can use the monoline brush. And for the color, we'll use this one, our line art color, fourth color. Let's go in here and let's just trace our star. And you can hold your pen in place to make nice straight lines. And of course, you can do this with other emojis as well. So now we have our star. We can remove our star over here. We can just slide to the left, tap delete. We can actually merge our lines here. No problem. Then let's set this to reference. Make a layer underneath by tapping this one and tapping the plus. And then let's fill it with this yellow second color. Drag it in there. Then let's grab the soft brush under airbrushing to add a little bit of variety here. Let's tap this layer, turn on alpha lock, and then grab the third color over here. Let's set the size of this brush to around 4% opacity, or well, 5. Opacity is at 80. And let's just add a little bit of orange around the outside here, very subtle. And then let's add some highlights. Let's tap the plus and then grab this first color in the second row. And then for our brush, let's go to the inking brushes and use the studio pen. Let's set the size to 20%, opacity is at 100. And then let's add some highlights around the edges, just like this. And maybe we can add some sparkles. Maybe some highlight on the jar. You can make some dots or some bigger stars. Just very simple shapes. All around our jar. Keeping it very simple. And then let's add some glow. Let's duplicate this layer, slide to the left, tap duplicate, and then let's drag this underneath our lid because I don't want the glow to go over the lid. Then let's turn off alpha lock and then go to the magic wand to Gaussian blur, slide to the right to get this yellow glow. Then let's tap the magic wand again, go to bloom, slide to the right to make this more intense. Now I have the bloom set to 66%, size at 63, and the burn at 54. And we can make it even more intense by making another layer underneath. So tap the plus here. Then let's grab the airbrush, the soft brush, and let's make the brush a little bit bigger. 15%, opacity is still at 80. And let's just go over this area. Add a little bit more light, just like this. And then we can play around with the opacity a bit. You can tap the N, slide to the left. Let's set it to 50% or 51. And now we have a nice glow for our star in a jar. For our final drawing, we'll create this cute little turtle. For the color, we'll use this fifth color in the second row, and for our brush, we'll use the monoline brush. And for the size, I have set it to 65%, and the opacity is at 100%, of course. Then what we'll do is we'll draw a circle like this. Hold your pen in place. You can tap one finger on the screen for a perfectly round circle. And then we'll go to the magic wand and to liquefy to make it a little bit smaller, maybe 60%. And make sure to set it to push with distortion and momentum still set to none. And then let's adjust the face of our turtle a little bit. So it's a bit shaped like this. And then just tap the magic wand again. Then let's make a new layer. Let's tap the plus, drag it underneath. Make sure to set this layer to reference. Then go to this bottom one and then put this color, the second color in the second row, into the head shape. Then we'll make another layer. We'll tap the plus and drag that underneath. And I will also switch back to that fifth color in the second row. And for the brush, I'd like to go to the inking brushes and use the studio pen. And then let's start here and make a curve behind its back to here. And then we'll start here, make a shape like this. And then we'll continue here, go up and back. And then from here, we'll make one leg like this and one over here. And make sure to apply less pressure as you end your stroke, as you go upward. And then a little belly over here. And then of course you can go in and maybe add some line weight or make some lines a little more smooth. Make them attach a little bit better. And then let's work on its face. Let's make a layer on top of this one. Let's tap the plus And then let's make one eye over here and one here, nice big eyes, and a little smile. Then let's grab some pink, fourth color over here in the first row, and also give him these cute rosy cheeks. Then for the body of our turtle, let's set this layer to reference. Let's tap it, set it to reference, then tap the plus for a new layer, and let's drag that underneath. And then let's grab this color, second one, drag that in for the body. And now, before we fill in this area, we do need to make sure that the shape is closed here. If we turn the head off, you can see that we have a gap there. So let's go to this layer and let's grab this color again. And with our brush, let's connect these lines like this. It doesn't have to be tidy. You won't be seeing that. So now it's closed. We can turn the head back on. Then go back here. Let's grab the second color again. Drag it into the body. Then for the shell, we'll use this one, third color. Drop that in there. And then for that, like that ridge, we'll use this one, fourth color. Drag it in there. And then let's also use this brush. We still have the studio pen and this color to add some lines here, like this pattern for its shell, like this. So just making like 5 corners. It's a bit like a football. And then let's also add these nails just by creating these rounded shapes. And then let's grab this first color in the second row to also add a white little belly. And we can add some highlights like this. And let's also do that on the head. We can just go to this layer and then add a little highlight like this, shiny head. Now to add a bit more interest to our illustration, we can add a background color. Let's first make sure to turn off reference on this layer. And then let's tap background color. Let's grab this color, first color in the first row. And then I'd like to make a circle for our turtle. Let's tap the plus for a new layer. We'll drag that to the bottom. And then for our color, we'll use this one, second color in the first row. And for our brush, we'll use the monoline brush. It's better for circles. Then let's draw a circle, hold your pen in place, tap one finger on the screen like this. And I can use circle here at the top to move it around and place your turtle in the center. And then drag in the color. Now let's give our turtle a little drop shadow with this third color in the first row. Let's also make a new layer by tapping the plus. And then let's just make an oval shape here. Something like this. And drag in the color. And there you have your cute little turtle, the last of our 10 quick and easy drawings. I hope you had fun. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for the next tutorial.